Okay, so today we are going to learn how to multiply functions. So here we have g of n equals n squared minus 5n, and we have h of n equals 4n. And they want us to find g of n times h of n. So we are going to first use the distributive method to multiply. So we are going to go and get g of n first. So we're going to have n squared minus 5n, and we're multiplying that by h of n, which is 4n. So if we use the distributive method, it might be easier to see that 4n, since it's 1, we distribute it to the two red parts, which is n squared minus 5n, or you can distribute the n squared to 4n and then the negative 5n to 4n. Either way, you should get the same answer. So let's distribute. So if we do 4n times n squared, and then we want to do the n squared is from the red. Then we want to do, so and then we want to do 4n times negative 5n. And when we say and, that's kind of like adding. So we have 4n. So we're going to add these when we're finished, or use whatever sign comes from them. So this gets multiplied by negative 5n. So when we multiply 4n times n squared, so go back and think about our whole little McDonald's, right? Multiplying is different from adding. So when we were adding up our order, we only added those like terms, and those exponents stay the same, or those sizes stay the same, right? If we were talking about a large fry and you order 2 large fries and we have 3 large fries, and it didn't become any other size. But when you are multiplying, your exponents change because your dimension is changing. So almost like area to volume. If its area is length times width, and it gets squared because those are 2 dimensions I'm using. But when we're talking about volume and we use length times width times height, there's 3 dimensions. And the answer for volume is in cubes, or in cubic feet. So that's when we're multiplying. So here we're multiplying 4n times n squared. This is going to become n to the third. The 4 is going to multiply the coefficient of 1 for n squared. So we're going to get 4n to the third power. And from positive 4 and negative 5 is going to become negative 20. And n times n is n squared. Okay. Now we have our answer. We cannot combine. So this is our answer. Again, for those exponents, n times n squared. Well, n squared means that it's n times n. And you have this n here. So this is where we get n cubed, right? The exponents represent how many times you multiply something. So if I multiply an n by two n's I'm already multiplying, which gives me the n squared, I get the n to the third power. I'm now multiplying three n's. So that is why that exponent changes. And then the same on this 4 was n times an n. Anything times itself is just square. So that gives me n squared. So that's just a little side note to help you understand multiplying exponents. You do add the exponents that you have. That is the rule. But here's our answer for the first one. All right, so here's example 2. So on example 2, we want to find HT multiplied by GT. So I'm substituting in HT, which is T squared minus 2T. I'm going to put a little hook on T so that you don't mistake that for a plus sign. And we are multiplying that by G of T. So multiply that by 2T minus 4. So I'm going to make sure that both red terms, T squared and negative 2T, gets multiplied by both blue terms, which is 2T and negative 4. So the first thing I want to do is make sure that that T squared and 2T get multiplied. So I'm going to try to do my best at keeping this color coded for you guys. So we have T squared that we want to multiply by 2T. Next, we have T squared that we want to multiply by negative 4. So T squared and negative 4. T squared times negative 4. That comes from the purple. Then we want to, once we have multiplied T squared by the two blue terms, now we can go on to the negative 2T and multiply the other two blue terms by the second red term we have here. So negative 2T is going to be multiplied by 2T. So negative 2T multiplied by 2T. And then last, we're going to take negative 2T and multiply it by 4. Negative 4. So negative 2T multiplied by negative 4. All right. So we have 4 things, right? We took the red had 2 terms, the blue had 2 terms, 2 times 2. We end up with 4 different terms here. So the first thing we want to do is multiply our first set of numbers that we have here, which is T squared times 2T. Again, keep in mind, T squared is T times T. And for this first part, I have a T squared, which is T times T, and then I have the 2T. And that means that's going to be to the third power. the coefficient is 2. So I have 2t to the third. Next, I have negative 4, and there's no t here, and I'm multiplying it by 2 squared. This becomes negative 4t squared. Next, I have the coefficient negative 2 and positive 2. That becomes negative 4. And the t times another t becomes t squared. Next, I have negative 2 times negative 4. That becomes negative 8. And there's only one t there. Now, when I look at this, I'm not done because I can still simplify because I have like terms. The t squared terms are the same. So I'm going to go ahead and combine those. Negative 4 and another negative 4 will be a negative 8. So this here becomes negative 8 t squared. On the end, I bring down the 8, negative 8t squared, and on the other end, I have t cubed. So here's my answer. So we have 2t to the third power minus 8t squared minus 8t. All right, be sure to put these answers in correctly. Upload your notes in Google Classroom. There is a space for fourth quarter notes. This is week 3. Email me if you have any questions.